Welcome back to another episode of the ZQUAKE podcast. My name is Julian, and today we are joined by another very special guest. He's the youngest elected official in Palm Beach County. He contributed to Marco Rubio's 2022 Senate win, serving as his Palm Beach County liaison. He is the president of Team Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicolas Giacalone.
Thank you, guys, and thanks, Julian.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's my honor, and you've been doing such a fantastic job with these podcasts, so I'm truly honored to be a guest.
So you've been in politics for a while, since you've been a young kid. You've always been interested in politics. I first heard about you when I was probably in like 7th or 8th grade, and I always knew you as like kind of this political figure. Mm-hmm. So what made you get into politics?
Well, community. I believe in order for your community to strive greatly, I believe that you have to make a difference and do it yourself. It's like President John F. Kennedy says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, which is one of my favorite quotes of all times. I think it's very influential, and it's had a positive impact on me later in my career. What made me start is pretty much, I started way before I even heard of that quote, but I love my community, I love my state, and I love my country. And since 12 years old, I wanted to get involved. I've known that since in 6th grade. I went to Franklin Academy. It's a charter school here in Boynton Beach, Florida. I had a passion to serve as student body president, the SGA president. Student council was called there. And, I just took a liking to public service, at least, to start off young in your schools. That's where you start. And then now here we are running on a statewide based campaign. So, it's exciting.
You call yourself the president of Team Nick. What exactly is Team Nick?
Team Nick is I consider as a good group of people who, we used to be really involved within the community. Team Nick used to host a lot of events within the community. We had a nice group. First, we originated Team Nick to run my campaigns for school. And if you see now, look where we took Team Nick to, and actually based, real campaign team with many people. But no, we gathered a bunch of students from different schools like Somerset, Franklin Academy, Park Vista, Olympic Heights, all these Palm Beach County schools. We had a whole big following group. We used to do a lot of events within the community and you really brought people together, which was awesome, which I loved. People who didn't even know each other came out to do these events with each other. And that's what it is. It's really community-based event that gets everyone together from different types of cultures and stuff. And it's awesome. It's really...
So that was kind of your start. That was your, that's how you got into it. That was your first sort of political venture.
It was Team Nick, yeah. In 5th grade.
Wow. So you started that in 5th grade. And
I did.
You started that in order to grow your campaign for school, like Student Government Association, correct?
Yeah.
So at what age were you involved in Student Government Association?
So we started to build our, political resume, I'd say officially in 7th grade. It took 2 years to finally get me going to run for office I ran for president. I lost in 7th grade, and I actually lost in 8th grade. But, I was, unfortunately, we don't know what happened, but, it was all right because we took it like a champ. But I did become an official member of student council for Franklin Academy in 8th grade and inevitably won member of the year. So that was pretty awesome. And it just showed our true love and passion for politics and public service, especially within the school. So, yeah.
So, and then you made the transition into Somerset for high school?
I did. And it was one of the best choices I've ever made in my life. Like I said, I don't want to skip parts, so I'm just making sure we're on a timeline here. Yeah, in Franklin, we moved to Somerset in 9th grade, and that's where Team Nick, really exploded because we met all these people. We met a lot of new friends who really had the same passion and just wanted to see, our agenda succeed. Which did. Again, it did really, really well, especially when we start talking about these upcoming things, I think, that about, especially the last year and two.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But so 9th grade, Somerset, new school. Mm-hmm. How was the transition?
The transition was different, you know. I'm coming here. I knew some people, but I didn't know a lot of people, especially the people I know now. So I never thought, if you'd asked me in ninth grade, do I ever think, you know, this would become a super big thing? I had no idea how big it would actually become and how, you know, the much love and support we actually received within the last 4 years of my high school journey. And it's funny, we actually graduated 1 year ago today, so it's pretty
wow.
cool. Yeah.
Congrats. 1 year into college.
Yeah, you're right. So, you know, I never thought how big it would get and how...
Were you on SGA that first year in ninth grade at Somerset?
No, because they did elections in 8th grade for the following year, so now I couldn't.
So 10th grade, were you on SGA?
10th grade, no, I ran, and you know what happened? I lost.
Well, listen, you know, sometimes losses are good things. Maybe if you didn't lose those times, you wouldn't be where you are today. So you always got to look at the bright side of things, you know?
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I'll tell you when you get to the cool part. So when you're ready.
Yeah, that election was probably rigged.
Maybe.
All right, so 11th grade was your first year on SGA.
Yes.
At Somerset.
So, yeah.
How was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. So 11th grade, you know, we were elected finally. It took a few years, but we were finally elected to serve as junior class president of the class of 2022, which is a proud position that I held to hold. And we also were appointed to serve as the chairman of fundraising. So not to brag, but we hosted the most fundraising events out of any single president or chairman that anybody has ever before. So it showed that we truly had, you know, we weren't just running for power, but we were running to contribute to Somerset. And that's the best thing I could have done. A lot of people just ran because it was a popularity thing, you know?
Right. 100%.
And that's why a lot of people run. But I tell you, if they don't have it in them to actually lead and make change, then don't run. You know, if you're just going to run for a popularity thing, run for homecoming king and queen or prom king. That's
right.
that's what you should do when you want to run for president. You know, it's a hard job, and you gotta take a lot of. I played baseball, and I had to stop baseball because that's how much time it took. I was actually balancing out in 10th grade, but I'm like, you know, I have a lot of position. It's hard. So you know, if you can do all in one, I give you 100% credit. But when you're president, and you know, you gotta take a lot of your personal time and put that into the job. So.
And one thing that I think gained you a lot of popularity, which correct me if I'm wrong, is the Somerset News every morning.
Yeah.
That you were the first person, I believe, to do like a video news every morning. It used to just be someone would come on the intercom and announce whatever's going on. And I don't know if it was your idea or whose idea it was, but that gained you a huge amount of popularity.
Yeah. No, it did, you know, because we just not only expanded our name from one grade to the others, but we expanded it to one grade to the whole school because they had to watch it every single morning. But no, it wasn't. I'll give credit to Mrs. Horsley, who was phenomenal, one of the best teachers I've ever had, who actually, you know, shaped that program. Years ago, they did little shorts like announcements, nothing like we had, but you know, they were all right. And then they switched to somebody doing it over the intercom, and I said, you know what, we got to start. You know, she said it, and you know, it took me, she started me because then she started, you know, let's bring back the kids to do it. So she started me as a news anchor that only lasted a day, and then I was promoted, thankfully, to be the lead anchor for the news channel and producer, which was an incredible honor. So we were able to produce over 300 episodes within a year and a half, 2 years. So I was very, very humbled by that experience.
And you definitely set the wave because that is something that still goes on to this day.
Does it?
Even though you are unfortunately, no longer at Somerset.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year hasn't been, you know, as good without seeing President Nick walking around.
Stop.
But your senior year, I think that's when you really kind of blew up. You were sort of a icon at the school. You know, you came to school every day wearing a suit. You're kind of known as that guy, walked around wearing a suit. You saw him on the announcements, and you were like famous in the school.
Yeah, you know. And like I said, like Julian mentioned, since that position, in 6th grade, you know, I've always had the dream, like I told you before, to become a president of a school and of an SGA. And like I mentioned in my graduation speech last year, in 12th grade, we made that dream a reality, and we became the president of the school and of the SGA, which was my biggest dream I've had for such a long time, since I was 12 years old. Finally, it took me 6 years to accomplish that dream because I never gave up. And I'll get to that after. But your question again was
your senior year, you kind of gained a lot of popularity. I remember it got to at one point you were kind of getting like stalked, and someone created an Instagram page.
Yeah,
like
you remember
President Nick pictures or something, and they would. I don't know if you found out who it was, but they would take pictures of you while you were walking and post it on Instagram.
It was a little creepy.
It was very creepy. And I personally, I wouldn't like that if someone was doing that to me. And I believe they were asked to take it down, and they did.
Yeah, they did, and it was an interesting thing.
What was your initial reaction when you saw that?
I'm like, all right, this is a little weird, their game. And first off, they weren't good angles; they were bad angles. So that's the one thing I didn't like. If they were good angles, I'd say, you know what, but they were the worst angles. I'm like, all right, now we, all right. And then they were getting a little weird, But the person that I reached out to them directly after they were taken, because I said, I don't think they had an aggressive agenda against me. I found out they were big fans of me, actually. So I was admired by it, but at the same time, I was a little creeped out because walking to my car and I'm getting a picture taken. We're not like in New York or in on a famous spot where I'm like, I'm at that level yet. So hopefully one day maybe, but so I was a little concerned, especially on
you're not getting paparazzi.
Yeah.
School paparazzi. So that you mentioned that was your year that you were the head of the entire school in terms of the Student Government Association. What was that experience like?
It was awesome. It's so hard to explain the feeling because it was cool,
Yeah.
I loved it. I got to communicate with the administration, and a lot of them get a lot of, they get taken down a lot.
Yeah.
But, one thing they did for me is, they were very and always willing to work with me. They never said no to an idea. They were always willing to talk. So I got to give them a lot of credit. I got to meet many of the students, they used to come up and shake my hand. I was at Panera sometimes or Chick-fil-A, they all run up to me and they shake my hand. And I signed stuff for them actually, but it was a true honor to serve as president, and it was a true honor to wear those suits and those khakis. I don't know if they do that still anymore. I don't think so.
I don't think anyone has done that besides for you.
We were a one of a kind president, I think,
to say the least.
But it was awesome. I met you actually not through that on that. Maybe we meet a few times.
I mean, I'm sure like we weren't close.
Mm-hmm.
We actually we'll get into it, but. We have a pretty interesting story of how we became close.
That's going to be exciting, but
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
So yeah. So it was awesome. I had, and the best thing is that I handpicked a whole board. It's called the executive board to run with, and we all won. So it really showed the power of this administration and what we could do, and we did a fantastic job. I think personally, we left a pretty good mark, and we had some of the best years. We got to shake so many hands, hug so many people, and I'm happy to become all their friends. So it was one of the best experiences I can ever live, and I would never regret to do anything.
And that must feel pretty cool. You're just at Panera or Chick-fil-A, as you mentioned, getting your bite to eat, and people are coming up to you, shaking your hand, taking pictures with you, asking you to sign things for them. How does that make you feel?
It was heartwarming to me, seriously. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank them all because it made me. It wasn't only a boost of confidence, but it was a boost of, saying that you're doing a good job, and I think we really succeeded in that way. We were able to build a very reputable persona that was very welcoming, I think, to say the least. And it was a true honor. That's, that's really how you can explain it. I'm speechless because it's always a heartwarming feeling when I get it.
So that's kind of the school political side of things. What was your first political venture outside of school?
All right. Well, I became I don't want to get too political here, but I became the youngest member of the Republican Executive Committee at 18 years old. That's when, you're able to get accepted to one of those things. The Republican Party of Palm Beach County is the largest committee the second largest committee within the state, with many great connections and leads, which was very beneficial to me, becoming the youngest member of that in the county, one of the youngest committeemans in the state. And that's an elected position, when you get elected, because you get elected, So, it was an awesome feeling. Again, just a true honor becoming that. And so we took the lead as the youngest Republican elected official within the county. and one of them in the state. So that was my first, really ever
And
political.
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a pretty great accomplishment. But what exactly is your job serving on that committee?
Grassroots efforts to get many other candidates who we support elected. And we did a phenomenal job in 2022. And we look to do that in 2024. So I'm excited about those elections.
Yeah. So what was your next thing? I believe it was Marco Rubio. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you got that right, Julian. So in December, actually, I was tapped by the Rubio campaign to become a simple volunteer, knock doors, do all that nice stuff. Then in March, I was promoted to become an intern. And then that was from March to September, when I was asked to then serve as the Palm Beach County Administrative Liaison to represent the senator from Boca Raton, Senator Marco Rubio from Boca Raton to Jupiter. So, it was a busy job, it was a fun job. You got to meet so many people that I never thought I'd actually get to meet. And it was the coolest thing, one of the coolest experiences politically I've ever had in my life. And so we did that, and we've made records. We lost Palm Beach County by 0.4%. It's never been done before, not for many, many, many decades. So that was amazing. We weren't expecting that. We were expecting to lose by much more. But we also won Miami-Dade County, which was very significant. And we won the highest lead a senator almost ever had before in the state of Florida. We won against our opponent by 17 points. Senator Rubio won by 17 points, which was record-setting throughout the whole state.
And you got the win overall. In the
Yeah,
state.
we got the
So
win.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that.
You definitely contributed to that. That leads me into how we met.
Yeah.
So you were sitting down in BurgerFi getting a bite to eat the night before the day of the elections.
You got it.
And I come in with a couple friends. We're like, President Nick. Like
Yeah.
it's been a couple months since we've seen you.
Mm-hmm.
We used to see you at school all the time last year.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started talking. And then we ended up like driving around with you, telling people to vote for Marco Rubio,
Yeah.
walking around with signs, pins. And it was a great time.
That was awesome.
But that's pretty much how we became close.
It is. And let me tell you, Julian, if you want somebody on your team, you got to call him because he's amazing.
Thank you,
and
man.
you
I
helped us that
appreciate- I
night. You see how
appreciate
many
it.
people we swing?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Just even going around in Wawa telling people
Yep.
at the gas station to vote for Marco Rubio. I mean, they said they would. Who knows if they actually did? But it seems like we convinced a couple people to, swing their votes.
And you did. And one vote matters. It's like, are you making any money? Even if you're making more than $1, that's very significant,
Right.
because you're making something out of it. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. And that's how you can contribute to making a significance in society. So.
And shortly after that, you announced that you'd be running yourself for State House District 90.
Yeah.
I was at the event. Great event.
Thank you.
Talk about that.
That was awesome. So in November, I was thinking about it. This state, is doing well economically, but the district is not. We could have so much in District 90. It encompasses East Point and Delray Beach. Actually, this area where we are today,
Right.
that's in my district. And, we have a community that could get so much more in appropriations and so much more in everything. And our current elected official isn't doing the job. And other people who have jumped into the race, which I'll get to after, but, I felt like we could do something. I've been a resident my whole life. I may be young. I may be 19 years old running and one of, like you said, in the state running. But, I don't think people should downgrade you because of your age. I think they should not judge you based on your political position. I think they should judge you based on who you are as a person. And that is what we're going to do. We've lived here my whole life. I know the city. I know the state. And I think we can do a hell of a job if we get elected next year. So I announced in January 10th. You were there. Thank you for coming again.
Great event again, like I said.
Thank you.
I had a great time.
Thank you. I think you and your brother came, right?
Yep.
So, it was an awesome event. We raised money. We raised good money. We had a good amount of people come, a good turnout. So that was humbling, just as is. And I thank you all who donated and contributed to our cause and the campaign. And it was awesome. I'm just living my life still how I want to live my life. I'm not letting the campaign get in my way. Of course, campaigning takes a lot of time, so we're doing a lot of campaigning. And you get to meet a lot of people again, Democrats, Republicans, I've gotten to meet so many times. And they're all good people. So what you see is not always what you see and hear isn't always how it is in the real world. But because you meet everyone and you become friends with everyone, no matter where you are politically. So that's what I've been learning. And another one, you can't trust a lot of people too. There's a lot of snakes in politics. That's why I'm running too. A lot of dirty people and a lot of sick people, and that's what I don't like about politics. But you need somebody to get in there, whatever the hell age you are, and do the job that you should do and get rid of these people. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start bringing transparency and honesty to the great state of Florida and one day the nation. So I'm excited for that.
So the election for this is in 2024?
It is in 2024.
Okay, so when you get elected in 2024, you get in office, what's the first thing you're getting done?
We're going to do our best for economic development, keeping the taxpayers' dollars low, creating a good source of income for District 90 residents in every state. Because look, when I get elected, I won't be just representing my district, but I'll be representing every single citizen in this great state, like I said, on the 10th of January. So we'll be delivering for economic development, which this country strives on and this state needs to be successful. Next would be property insurance. Homes are way too high. Nobody can afford a home. Nobody looking to start a living can afford a home, and it's wrong. Nobody's addressing it because all the politicians are bought by special interests and big donors, and it's not. I haven't taken a dollar from any of them, and I don't plan to. Because I know the struggles people are facing, and for too long, far too long, many citizens have gotten taken advantage of, and it's wrong. And it's time somebody stands up, denies their money, and say, I'm going to actually do it and fight for what I've been elected for. So that's another issue we're going to combat.
Those are all obviously very important issues. But one thing that I would like to point out, which I don't know if you would have any say in this in your position, but the lack of public parks in our area, especially, around here. There are some small ones, but, you go down to Boca and there are some big parks, basketball courts, football fields. We don't really have anything around here like that. So, personally for me, that would be something that's important for me. So I don't know if that's something that you would be able to take a part of in your position, but if you can, I think that is a great idea to bring some of that to this area.
No, definitely. And I agree with you 100%. Actually, the city of Boynton Beach is doing a phenomenal job recently. You got to give them credit, whether you like them or not. Some people, they get a lot of heat, but they have, really changed Boynton Beach to become, a lot more better, and they're taking notes from other different cities. So, no, I agree with you. That's more of a city commission thing, but we can definitely bring in appropriations to fund those type of projects. But the city of Boynton just opened up a new, beautiful indoor basketball facility, and I agree with you. There's only like one park east from here, actually.
Where's that basketball facility?
It's in the city hall, right across the city hall.
Have you been there?
I've been there.
Is it nice?
Yeah, I took a tour with city manager city manager named Daniel Duggar, an amazing guy, good friend of mine. And he's been an impeccable city manager, just starting out. He's been working well with the mayor and the commission. And there's a beautiful.
So it's open to anyone. Anyone can just walk in. Oh, wow! I might have to go check.
I'll take you down there.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
So we can
vote team Nick. All right?
Thanks, Julian.
You've actually met Trump a couple times.
I have.
How is he in person?
I may get a lot of heat for this, but I'm sorry. But, he's a very nice person. How people depict him on television isn't how he is as a person. The few times I met him, he's been one of the most generous people I've ever met in my life. He's a very nice man, and I have no harsh words to say about him. I don't. Whether you like him a lot or not, my uncle, my grandpa, we have disputes about it. And we have our debates. That's normal. So he's a very nice man. He is.
You're the second person to come on my podcast who has actually met Trump, and you're the second person to only have good things to say about him.
Thanks.
So I think that does say something about his persona on television compared to how he is in person.
It does. He can come off arrogant. That's just 100%. A fact. He can come off arrogant. So he's a real estate developer. A lot of them are arrogant. But he's a very nice man.
So we do have some big news today.
Yeah.
I think you know where I'm going with this.
I do.
You're obviously a big fan of Trump, and you're obviously also a big fan of DeSantis.
Yeah.
He just announced his candidacy just a couple minutes before we started this podcast. Who are you going to vote for?
Well, I admire both men. I think they're highly respectable in their own ways. The governor's done a great job economically in the state, and President Trump has done a great job economically in the nation. So, we'll see what happens. I respect both men. I'm excited to see who's going to win in 2024.
Me too. And there's been a lot of beef going on between them. I know Trump supported DeSantis' campaign when he was first elected for governor in the state of Florida, and he probably wouldn't have won if Trump didn't. Mm-hmm. And I think Trump is kind of annoyed that he's running for president against him. So he's been bashing him on, what is it, Truth Social?
Yeah.
That's his social media company. But do you really think DeSantis stands a chance against Trump?
It will be a very tough election for the governor. Look how long it took Senator Rubio to get his name back. It took him almost 10 years, 7 years. President Trump destroyed him, And Rubio, again, if you meet Marco in person, Senator Rubio is a very, very nice man. And I admire him too. He's one of my role models. And again, but look how long it took him to come back and make a name for himself. Now he's the vice chair of the National Intelligence Agency for Washington, D.C., and that's one of the biggest things. It's close to President of the United States, but which I hope he would run one day. But I don't know. DeSantis, Trump, he can attack you, and he can attack you brutally.
Me, why not just wait till 2028? I mean, if he loses to Trump, it would be rough on his political career. It would set him back a fair amount. So, I mean, I'm sure he has his reasons. But if you ask me, it seems so clear just to wait till 2028. You don't have to run against Trump. You're in Florida. Mm-hmm. He said it himself. He still has things to get done in Florida. Running for president pretty much takes up all of your time. Mm-hmm. So,
well, that's the thing. A lot of people are concerned about the governor because they elected him for 4 years, not 2. So, that's a big thing that many people are, disagreeing with. I will not take a stance, publicly because just for where I am. But
wait, what do you say that again? They elected him. What were you saying about how long they elected him?
DeSantis, they elected him for 4 years.
So he's not on a 2-year term.
No, it's a 4 years term.
Are all governors like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Congress people are 2 years.
All right.
And state representatives, what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. So he just got reelected
in 22 with the senator.
So which means he stays until 2026.
6, yeah. So he would be.
Why would he not wait till 2028?
That's the thing. A lot of people look, if the governor wants to do it, who can tell him no? Politically, I don't know if it's the best move, but I support both of them. I have a lot of respect for both of them, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and there's some other big names in the presidential race. We have Robert F. Kennedy, obviously that big last name of his.
That is, he's a Kennedy.
Yeah, he's running. What do you think about him?
He's a very nice man. He seems to be. I don't know if he can hold the same standards that his father and John F. Kennedy did. 2 very reputable men. So we'll see. We'll see. He seems like a good guy. I think he's kind of crazy if he thinks he can beat Joe Biden. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this economic crisis that's going on right now? I know this. For all the listeners out there, this is probably like the 4th time I'm bringing this up, but it's very important.
It's very important.
I know. I really want to hear your opinions on this.
This country's failing economically, and there's whoever you are, that's just the facts. It's failing economically terribly. Gas prices, inflation, everything. We're going to be probably going into a recession soon, and that's not what people wanted to see or live through again. So, it's always inevitable. It's going to happen, but, this could have totally been avoided. We were doing well the last 4 years. Again, statistically proven. You can't say yes or no. It's the facts. So, President Biden, he has failed this country. And I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, but look what he's done. He's took a good economy and is spilling it down the drain. Gas prices, it's first off, electric cars aren't affordable for many people for the majority of people throughout this nation. They go over 60 grand, 50 grand. It's sick what they want to make people do. In California, they've passed some bill that's just sick, and it's detrimental to society. It's detrimental to citizens because electric cars, they run on fossil fuels as is. The batteries and stuff that they're made of, so regardless, you're using fossil fuels. And what we're doing, if I may, we are buying from Russia and Saudi Arabia. In the United States, we have the cleanest natural oil and gas, which was operating very well under President Trump. You saw gas prices probably $1.99, right. $2. That's how much I was paying a gallon. Then President Biden, you can tell me if it's a coincidence or not, but in politics and in public life, there's really not anything such as a coincidence. But on January 20th, a little bit past that gas prices skyrocketed to over $3.60, and they're still up to that price today. And it is really taking back on the average American family. Eggs cost over how much, like $10 now or something crazy?
Egg prices are going crazy.
It's unacceptable, and it's unaffordable, and it's unacceptable. Everyone's suffering. What class you are at, they're suffering. This country is suffering, and it's sick, and it's wrong, and it's unacceptable. Like I said, there's no way to put it around. Kevin McCarthy, our Speaker of the House, who has done a phenomenal job, I personally believe, who's been trying to work bipartisanly with Mitch McConnell, who's the Senate Majority Leader, and President Biden. But what they want in this bill and what they put in this bill, it's not what's right for the American people. It's just to give back to, frankly, special interests and stuff. And for people, it's all a game. It's all favorites. It's all coordinated so that people can fail where they need to and people can succeed where they succeed to. So, Speaker of the House McCarthy is really trying so this country doesn't so we don't reach the debt ceiling. Because that will be detrimental, and we will see things that are regrettable, that are very
and
regrettable.
The word that everyone's been hearing lately is economic default.
Yeah.
And I've heard that it's almost kind of guaranteed that we are going to go into that, because we're at a certain point where even if we do agree on the bill,
mm-hmm.
the amount of time that it would take to actually get signed and passed and go through the process that it needs to go through, to actually go into place, it would take too long. And by that time, we would already be in the so-called default.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not looking too good for us at the moment.
No, it's not. That's what I was, I skipped ahead, I think, a little bit. Like I said, I'll reiterate really quick, Speaker McCarthy, who is trying to make a deal with Mitch McConnell, who's the Senate Majority Leader, and President Biden. He's trying to make a deal, but like I said, they're putting in legislation that's not right for the American people, nor Floridians personally, but for the American people. They give it to the blue states. And, I don't like it to be a partisan thing. I really don't. It shouldn't be about Democrats and Republicans. It should be about the American people. But that's how a lot of these politicians play. There's many good Democrats, many good Republicans. I'm not saying the Republicans are doing all well, but, you just got to do what's right. That's the bottom line. And a lot of these people on both parties, I'll say, they try to contribute for their own. But right now it's in the Democrats' court. And, Kevin McCarthy, who's the speaker, again, is trying to reach a deal. But what they have in the legislation isn't beneficial. I'm sorry. Right, it's not.
Let's hope that they do reach that deal.
I do too, yeah.
But to move on from that, what are your thoughts on Trump getting indicted?
Which with the
one in New York?
What's the Stormy Daniels case?
Yeah, that one.
It's another. Well, first off, the DA is the district attorney, Alvin Bragg. It's political. They've tried to get him for Russia. The Russia collusion, which the FBI just reported and declassified that it was all a false. You know who's paying for that? The average taxpayer. All those deals in New York. New York taxpayers are paying for that. Throughout the nation, too, when it starts to get into that, because people, security, all that crap. So, it's a scam. He shouldn't have been indicted. There was no evidence. There's really no evidence. Let's be honest there. Why come out? I'm not killing anyone in the Me Too movement, but they come out years later. First off, this case was settled in 2018. It was settled. Her attorney went to jail for stealing from her as well. Let me just keep a note. But she settled this case in 2018, so there's no really quest for comments on it because it should have never happened. I shouldn't even be talking about it to you right now. It's BS.
Right, and I believe his next court date for that is in December. So
it is.
We do have a couple of months, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. And it's just sad what they do to this man. Whether you like him or not, I have family members who are not fond of him at all. But, there's a point where you got to stop hurting this man, for just trying to do what he, for what's best for the country. Because that's all. And they're going to do this to DeSantis. They're going to do this to any candidate on the Republicans who try to run for president in the future. And it's sick, and it shouldn't be like that. I admire John F. Kennedy, who's a Democrat. I admire Ronald Reagan, who's a Republican. These two politics were never like that. This wasn't JFK's party. And, that's the truth.
Right. Did you watch the CNN town hall?
I did.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm. I watched clips. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm a big Twitter guy. And all over Twitter, everyone was pretty much saying that he killed it, And a lot of CNN employees were pretty mad that they made him look that good. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, I respect CNN for playing that town hall, for letting the President Trump come on. Yeah. That was very honorable of them. I watch CNN occasionally. I watch Fox News. I like to see both sides. But no matter who they do that, this is not something that's rare. It is rare that he's on CNN, but they've done this in 2016. They've done it in probably 2020. CNN has hosted him before, so it's not like coming out of the woodworks that it's so rare. He's been there before. He's done that before. So it's like, I don't know why they're so shocked now, just because of now. They're just scared of him.
Yeah, I think that is the main thing. A lot of people are scared of him. They saw what he did in his past times in the office, and they're scared that he'll come back and do something similar. But something else also pretty big news a couple of weeks ago is Tucker Carlson getting fired from Fox News. What do you think the main reason is for him getting fired?
He's a controversial figure. Many people don't like that. I don't know if it was, he had good ratings. That's all I know. He had really good ratings.
Yeah, and I think he was like the most watched TV,
Well, yeah, the most ratings.
Yeah.
So it was a big loss for Fox News. So, I don't know what they were thinking exactly, but it was a
interesting move.
An interesting move. Oh yeah, I'm shocked. I'm a little shocked.
And
they can't find anyone to fill his spot now.
Well, you'll never get anyone to get his numbers. No matter who you put in there, they're not going to get Tucker's numbers.
No.
I don't think anyone ever has gotten Tucker's numbers. He set some record breaking numbers, but he just announced that he's going to be taking his show to Twitter.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So we've been seeing that a lot. A lot of people are moving on to Twitter. Today, Ron DeSantis actually announced his candidacy on Twitter.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, he's been kind of taking more of that right-leaning political view. He does try to stay towards the middle, but he has come out and say that he is more right-leaning due to how the lefts are so far to the left. They've kind of they don't allow anything to be towards the middle, and they just kind of taken it so far to the left. What do you think? What do you think of that transition from the media over to social media?
Social media,
which in Twitter.
Well, sure. Look what you're doing. What are you filming on right now?
Right. Yeah. This will be on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Social media platforms.
I think it's a very great move for. Did that camera stop? Sorry.
All right, we're back. The camera died. Had to take a little bit of a break, but we got it. We got it working. So where were we? We were talking about how politicians, we're going to see them make a transition from, TV and the actual media to social media and Twitter. Elon Musk, like I mentioned, he's taking more of that right-leaning view. Talk about what you think is going to happen with that.
Well, like I told you, a lot of people like you and many other influencers, politicians, and many famous personalities are transferring to social media. And that's really, you see TikTok, you see Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, all these type of things. You use Reels. Many people use Reels now. And look how many views and people watch those things and follow those things. And that's how many people have been building their resume. So no, I think it's politically, I think it's very good politically. I think many people can benefit off of social media. Not to keep throwing his name, but Senator Rubio used to not use social media. Look at this election. Look how much, statistically, how much he grew in popularity using social media. 17 points lead, victory. A lot of that's thanks to social media and advertisement. So what you're saying with Elon Musk and all of them, that's a very big move for them. I think it's a smart move for them because a lot of people don't turn on the TV and watch the news anymore.
Right.
They get no more cable. A lot don't use more cable. They watch Netflix, Disney Plus, and that's the things they watch on TV. For everything else, TikTok, all the other social medias, that's how they're making their names through social media.
People's attention spans are so much shorter nowadays. Yeah. It's that short form content, especially for me.
Yeah,
that's what's taking off. People don't want to sometimes sit and listen to an hour podcast or an hour interview, on TV, but they want to see that 30-second clip, that minute clip, that minute and a half clip, and that gets them interested. So I think that we'll definitely see a huge spike in that. And I think it will continue to grow. You mentioned TikTok.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about TikTok recently. Mm-hmm. They're throwing out the idea of banning TikTok. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to happen with that?
Well, actually, the person, you don't get mad at me, but the person who's in charge of that, a big advocate for the ban on TikTok is Republican Senator Marco Rubio and Democrat Mark Warner. They are the chair. Mark Warner is the chair, and Rubio is the vice chair of the National Intelligence Agency. Personally, I use TikTok, and it's they put algorithms, it's called, that attracts your attention. So what you watch, let's say you watch something from the Outer Banks, you're gonna get you're gonna get all these videos revolving the Outer Banks. It
studies you. It knows exactly what you want to see, and it keeps feeding you that. It knows how to get you addicted.
And that's the crazy thing, So I'm not taking away, it's never gonna go away. That's just I'm following the cases. Rubio has done a fantastic job, proving the points. It is a national security threat. The Chinese owns it and operates it. Nothing against the Chinese people, but China is our number one leading adversary economically and socially, and they are doing a wonderful job collecting your data. You use TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So your data and many other Floridians and Americans' data, even my data. I haven't posted on it in a while, but I have an account. I've liked videos. I posted videos, and now they have my personal data.
I think the best move would try to get them to sell to a United States company,
sure,
or even a different country's company, because China does have that law where their government can request their users' info at any point.
And, that's the thing with the sell. It's not going to do nothing if you just sell the company, because everything is still, there's a law that's passed in China that everything is still going to be operating. They can't make any sudden moves without the approval of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So no matter what you do, the only thing that's really going to be effective is a ban. That's just the facts. That's just the statistics. I was all in for a sale too. I still am for a sale because it can limit the effect of data that's traced by the Chinese government. But no matter what, it's still going to be owned and operated by China in the end game.
And I just saw recently the state of Montana passed a bill that would ban TikTok in their state. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. We'll see some states to take things into their own hands and pass things on a state level. Banning TikTok, which is interesting. I wouldn't want to be a kid in Montana. I love TikTok. I wouldn't want that taken away from me.
Yeah, no. And I agree with you. I think too many people, and to be honest with you, it's kind of too late. Too many people have already used TikToks, and people rely on TikTok for their business. It has helped. Whether you're like it or not, it's helped the country economically by creating. People. I don't know if it's the smartest way to get popular. It's the most common way now, as you see.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and
definitely.
It's kind of too late to take it away from people.
I think that I really don't think they'll be able to pass anything banning it. It's just too big at this point. And I know the CEO of TikTok was testifying in front of Congress probably around a month ago at this point. He came to the U.S. trying to get some good PR for the company, and I feel that TikTok is too big to ban it at this point.
It is. He didn't do the best job if you
Oh.
if you heard. But it was bipartisan support, and it's always been bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans have been, for at least finding some type of solution for TikTok. Rubio was in favor of just selling it, and he still is. But his main goal is to ban it, and a lot of Democrats are too, because it's not good for America. But there's no going back. Kind of too many people use it, so that's the deal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll see.
And make a lot of people mad. So
they're still.
I'm not touching.
They still are talking about it. They're still pushing for it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think they'll be able to get anything done. Anything else going on? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, sure. Really quick. Another little milestone we just created for us. We were appointed by a Democrat to serve for City of Boynton, to serve on the Education and Youth Advisory Board. So that was pretty exciting.
Congratulations.
So there's a lot of work to be done. We only have, I'm going to disclose it because I think Boynton residents should know. And even, going into Delray in the future. But Boynton, we only have $2,000 for funds for our education system in Boynton, which is a disaster. We need to do something about it. We need appropriations, which we can do if we get elected in 2024. Because it's really sad. That's why a lot of the schools are failing in Boynton, and a lot of people are failing educationally and youthfully, drugs and all this terrible stuff, which is it's terrible. So that is, I'm proud to do that. I'm looking forward to serving and working with many community leaders to address issues like that and support our education and youth system. And another two issues we did not hit on my platform, if I may cover really quick.
Of course, go ahead.
Is third, so we covered economic development and property insurance, but third is public safety. We have to support our law enforcement and first responders. I think it's very crucial. In order to succeed, we need to implement and maintain and fix. You see the traffic. We need to work on our
traffic's been hard.
Terrible. We have to work on our infrastructure. And we need the right funds, and I can't say it enough. Appropriations for Boynton and Delray. Once we get our foot down in Delray, we're gonna really, do a number there too. Good work, because Delray needs help, and we're looking to do that. So that's another thing. And homelessness. We have over 1,000 people in Palm Beach County who are homeless, and it's not being solved. We need an issue. I just appointed the chief of police, the interim chief of police of Riviera Beach, and Major Josh Lewis, who knows a lot about homelessness. Riviera Beach, a lot of homelessness, like the rest of Palm Beach County. So we're working on a plan to combat homelessness, which hasn't been an issue that many people politically, statewide, locally, nationally have been addressing. So that's another issue. And of course, senior advocacies. We need to work on, supporting the backbone of our community for many decades, our seniors, who get a lot of ageism, like myself, just for being young. It's the opposite, but we're always going to be there to back and support our senior citizens as well. So I just want to touch on those last two platform ideas.
I'm looking forward to seeing you put those words into actions.
Thank you.
And getting elected. And guys, if you're living in District 90 and you're not voting for Nicolas Giacalone, what are you doing? Go out there and vote. Unfortunately, I don't reside in District 90, so you won't have my vote, but you do have my full support as always. Julian. And who knows? Maybe that by that time I'll be 18. I'll have my own place in your district, but you never know.
And you never know. You just got to remember, sure, I'm elected by my district, 90, but I won't be just working for them. I'll be working for you too.
Right. Which is why I really hope you do get elected, even though you can't get my vote. Mm-hmm. I really do hope that, obviously as a friend, but also from a political standpoint, I really do hope that you can represent the state of Florida. I know you personally, and I know that you'll do a great job.
Thanks, Julian.
But I just want to bring this up real quick.
Sure.
Interesting day for me tomorrow. Pretty emotional day. I've been at Somerset for 6 years. Tomorrow is my last day at Somerset.
What do you mean? Where are you going?
I'm going early admissions to college next year.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Palm Beach State College. I'll be there next year. Tomorrow's my last day at Somerset. Emotional day.
Oh my God.
Spent 6 years of my life at that school. Tomorrow's my last day. So I've been thinking about this all week. You know, it's very bittersweet. A
Julian.
lot of very good memories at that school. A lot of bad memories at that school too. A lot of great friends. But yeah, tomorrow is my last day.
Sorry to hear that. Jeez, I got the goosebumps.
Yeah. Well, you know, everything. Yeah, I'm looking forward to college next year, and I believe it'll be a great experience, and you know, that next step in my life, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So may I ask you, why are you leaving the college?
Oh man,
Are you a junior, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior. You know, I never thought that I would be saying this. You know, I've enjoyed all of my 6 years at Somerset. But unfortunately, there was a situation a couple months ago with the administration and the school, and I don't think it's appropriate to go into here. I can tell you about it after, but I ultimately decided that it just wasn't the best place for me to be. I still am technically enrolled in the school. I go to prom, you know, homecoming. I graduate with the school. I'm allowed to play sports there. I'm just not on campus at all. All of my classes will be at Palm Beach State, and I just felt that it was the best decision for me to not be on campus there every day. It's just because of this situation. So tomorrow will be my last day there.
Sorry to hear that.
But yeah, you know, everything happens for a reason. You know, it's a great opportunity for me, and it's going to be great next year.
Geez, Julian. Well, good luck, and we'll be supporting you as well all the way.
Thank you.
I appreciate
it.
And that's coming from not just the former president, but a good friend of yours.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Nick. And thank you so much for coming on.
no, thanks for having me.
Obviously, your campaign, but anything you want to promote, your social medias, anything like that?
Sure, you can get me at nickforflorida.com. That will lead you to all of my things, all of my social media, like we talked earlier. And we're just looking not to run for myself, but to run for you and to get what all you deserve, especially as Floridians. I think we deserve a lot better within our district. You know, I think I'm the only Republican and I'm the only candidate, despite Republican, Democrat, who's actually knows this city, Boynton and Delray, who knows this state greatly. And I think mostly I'm not just running because I want power, but I want to actually help society and help my state in the future in my country.
I know a lot of my listeners do reside in this district. So, guys, please go out and vote.
Thanks, guys.
Voting is very important. I mean, I'm sure you can talk about that, but just go out and vote. And, yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for
Julian,
coming on.
thank you.
Talked about some great stuff and dove into some interesting topics. But, yeah, all right. Thank you for tuning in to ZQUAKE. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell button so you never miss another episode. Follow us at ZQUAKEPod on all socials. The Instagram has been going crazy lately. Make sure you follow the Instagram. The reels are blowing up. Go check that out. Until next time, peace.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, man. That was great.
Thanks, Julian.